more Apple software upgrade discussion, and breaking into Apple servers. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is sponsored by Upstart, fair and fast personal loans. Go to upstart.com/MacVoices and find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. This is the third and final part of a three-part discussion with the MacVoices Live panel that covered a whole lot of different topics. This time, we continue with our discussions of iOS 15 and some of the other software upgrades that Apple recently offered, and get into a bit of a disagreement over the hacker who broke into Apple servers and broke shortcuts. So let's go back and let the panel do the talking. Andrew, did you have any trouble installing the updates?
No. I did raise my hand earlier, but I don't count. I've been running the iOS beta all along, iOS 15 beta. I did encounter some small bugs, including, as Brittany said, there were some things I encountered with shortcuts. But all in all, to me, it seems like these are getting more stable each year. And I don't think people, or at least I haven't seen any reports of people having these massive device breaking bugs that they've had maybe in the past.
You mean like the system update that Jeff installed where he couldn't make phone calls anymore?
That was a hoot.
Yeah.
Kelly, I know exactly where I was when I sent a message to you saying you're not going to believe what just happened.
And I know exactly where I was when I got it too. Oh no. Let me see if I can help you route around this kind of damage. Yep.
So in the chat room, there's some discussion of the different upgrades. Brad says my old Apple TV third generation got an update too. And I'm with David. I didn't know they were updating that far back.
Wow.
So,
yeah, I didn't either.
Good. Yeah. David, how about you? Well, I know you were running a lot of betas, but so am I the only? Let me rephrase the question. Maybe
you are.
So, did anybody not running betas go through the upgrade process and have any issues?
Oh, no issues.
Well, I'll mention. Yeah, if you don't mind, Jeff. I'll mention that. I decided to run the release candidate. I don't generally put it on my production devices, but I knew it was near finished, and I said, no, I made a decision. Go ahead, let's install it. So I had release candidate on. I know release candidate was a little buggy, but it wasn't too bad for me. So then the official release came out, of course, on Monday, but the release candidate wouldn't update because there was another version once the final version came out. So I decided I would decide to take it off beta, so I removed the profile. But then both the iPad and the iPhone updated to its current version now because it wasn't going to update well if you were still on release candidate for obvious reasons, because then 15.1 went ahead and installed 2 days later. So, which I wasn't feeling comfortable doing that. But beyond that, the install went pretty smooth. It wasn't too terribly hard to do. The good thing was in the release candidate, the update was only a very small install, like about 450 megabytes versus, the full update was like 1.5 or 2 gigabytes. So that those did tend to take longer. And like I mentioned in the chat, out there is the watch stayed the same, which was unusual. Usually they do an update on that. But yeah, I update everything across the board, and I know Jeff has lots of posts in social media about his woes, and I'm sure he'd like to share as well.
Whoa, ways, Jeff.
Well, I have a question really quick for everybody that was not betaing who has installed the updates. I went to upgrade, and it seemed like it downloaded really quick, and then preparing update took about a week and a half.
Yeah, it was slow.
Give or take. And that's on phone, iPad, Apple TV, watch. All of them were like let me go download that. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be a while. And then it was like, okay, I'm done downloading. I'm like, awesome. Like, it turns out this maybe wasn't a very big update. All right. And then preparing update was just civilizations rose and fell before I got iOS 15 upgraded. So it was weird.
Kelly, I think some of that, this is just me, but I think some of that may have been a case where the update may have already been downloaded unless you specifically had that turned off. Because I know I had one device that I had exactly your experience, and another device that I know was had not downloaded the update. So I think it may have been sitting there just waiting for you to hit it and then the preparing.
But preparing still took like 150 years. And that was the part that I was sort of surprised about, because I don't remember preparing taking quite that long in the past. I remember it like installing for a long time, but I don't remember preparing being a thing that took quite as long as it actually did. So that was the thing I wanted to ask about, was if that was similar for other people. I do have it set to download, but then not install until I say install.
So there you go. Yeah. Jeff, what woes did you have?
Well, let's start with iPhone and iPad. Installing there went fine, and preparing did seem to take longer than I expected on both. But whatever, I lived through that. Where I had trouble was with my Apple Watch, and Apple Watch updates are always notoriously slow. And I mean, at least they're not like a full day commitment like they were with the OG Apple Watch. But still, you'd think that would be a smoother process now at this point in the game. So I'm still rocking a Series 4 Apple Watch, and I haven't had any problems with it. Did started the update process on the watch, and once it got far enough into the process where it was actually like really doing something, pretty soon my phone said, "Okay, your watch is up to date." And so I take a look at my watch sitting in its charger. It is not up to date. It's just like barely started the process. You get the little ticks going around.
Right.
And I know that you can have a thing where your phone says, yeah, it's done, but your watch is still going to spend some time doing its thing. No, this was like it had just barely begun, and it took a long time. Long enough that I started to get worried that the install had failed and I had a bricked watch. Turns out, no, I did not have a bricked watch, and I did finally get my my watch back up and running. I have, however, had a new problem since installing watchOS 8, and my Apple Watch stops responding. Like the buttons are dead, the screen is dead, but the watch is still working because my iPhone knows it's there and can communicate with it. And if I take my watch off and put it on the charger, my phone immediately shows that the watch is charging. So it's alive and it's working, but at the same time, it's not working. And I had that happen once yesterday, and eventually the watch just came back to life. And I've had it 4 times today, and I cannot figure out if there's anything that I'm doing. It's just at some point I'll go to look at my watch and the screen's black, and I tap and the screen's black. I push buttons and the screen's black. So
what series was? If you said it, Jeff, I missed it.
Series 4.
Series 4. Okay.
Did you try resetting it?
Yes. And
so
it's my problem.
You're making me glad I haven't updated.
Basically, it's a brick.
Well, it's a sometimes brick. Like right now, right now it's working.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
but there are 4 instances today where it was not working.
It's Schrodinger's watch.
It's yes, I have Schrodinger's watch.
Maybe a watch, maybe a brick. We'll never know until we try to tell the time.
Mm-hmm. And right now,
at least it'll be right twice a day.
Isn't she cute?
Black is not right twice a day.
And with that, Brittany's going to drop that mic and leave.
Yeah, unfortunately,
my sister-in-law will kill me.
That's going to be the last comment Brittany gets to make, because she does have to go. And no, I am not throwing her out. So, Brittany, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Where can folks find more of your work?
On Twitter, I'm ADD Liberator. Same on YouTube, and my website is conquer.consulting.
Great,
and that's what I got.
Thanks so much. You've shared in the chat, in our private chat, what you're doing, so it's a good cause. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna feed my skinny nephew.
And confirm.
Thank you, Brittany.
All right, thanks for having me.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Hi, Brittany.
Well, I got to tell you, it's been one of those days for a lot of different reasons. I updated my phone, and like Kelly said, it took a little while, but it took longer than I expected, but it wasn't horrible, especially, I had other things to do. I upgraded one of my iPads, and that went pretty smoothly. Again, maybe that seemed to go a little bit faster, which surprised me. And so I still have a few other devices to go. I've not had a chance to do the watch. Based on what Jeff just said, I think that may be an overnight project.
You got the 6, so you might.
I've got the 6.
I did the 6. It was fine.
Was it okay?
Yeah, and for all I know, the problem that I'm experiencing, the problems that I have experienced as well, are isolated. It's not like I'm seeing angry mob of Apple Watch Series 4 owners taking to social media with digital pitchforks.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a Series 4 as well, and I haven't noticed that. But I'm going to keep an eye out, because it's possible it's a thing that I just wasn't really noticing. I did, now that you say, like, here's this kind of weird thing that happened. I had 2 phone calls today where I was talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I stopped being able to hear them. They were still on the phone and they could hear me, but I couldn't hear them anymore. And and it was a weird feeling to hang up on my mom. So, because she called me back and said, "You hung up on me." I said, "I couldn't hear you." And she said, "I know, but I kept saying I was here and you hung up on me anyway." And I'm like, "I didn't mean to." So, it was weird.
If you can't hear someone saying that they're there, it's like Schrodinger's mom.
Schrodinger's mom is I'm not. But it was a couple of different phone calls. I rebooted my phone. Nobody's called me since, so I have yet to be able to test this theory. But it may have just been like rebooting or something. It just needed one more restart after I got all the after I got the update finished up installing, and maybe that's all it was. I don't know. But also, nobody's called me since I installed it yesterday, and these were the 2 phone calls I got today, and so that's it. So, well, 2 of the 3, but one of the other ones worked, and it was from an Android phone.
Well, I intentionally waited until as we recorded this afternoon, because I wanted to see, to Jeff's point, if there were a lot of widespread reports of any problems, and I really haven't seen much. I mean, there are the occasional issues like Jeff went through, but nothing that caused me to say, I think I'll wait a little bit, because I've the beta, all the betas from everything you all have said on here and everything else I've read have been pretty darn stable for the most part. So I felt pretty good. Usually I would wait a little while, but I felt pretty good about this one.
Yeah, even with the problems that I'm having with my watch right now, I still feel pretty good about these updates, especially since we have so many people that were running WatchOS betas all through this process and have not been seeing any real problems. Mm-hmm. If there'd been lots of reports about issues, I would have been hesitant on my production devices to do the updates, but thought, I rush in where angels fear to tread, and this time it doesn't look like the angels are that scared. Yeah. Now the updates that took much longer than I expected were HomePods.
Yeah.
My HomePod minis seemed to update very quickly, And then my OG HomePod, it took forever. I eventually lost track of time. It was taking that long. I just periodically go and look at the Home app, and I'm like, seriously, this is still going.
Upstart is bringing you today's edition of MacVoices. Fair and fast personal loans. Go to upstart.com/MacVoices and find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments. Looking for a treat with no tricks? Look no farther than Upstart. The trick that you may be experiencing is the high interest rate that credit cards and others charge. They build up and keep building up until you hate to see your statement arrive in the mail. The treat is Upstart. With Upstart, you are accessing a modern lending platform, all online and easy to understand. Best of all, rather than just looking at your credit score, they look farther, considering your current employment, income, and credit history to find you a smarter rate for your loan. All that, and in only 15 minutes for a loan from $1,000 to $50,000. Don't you owe it to yourself to check out Upstart and get a smarter rate for your high-interest loans or credit card debt? Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/MacVoices. That's Upstart, UPSTART.com/MacVoices. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/MacVoices right now. Thanks to Upstart for their support of MacVoices.
Yeah,
So you did the manual upgrade?
Oh, yeah, of course
Okay.
I did. I didn't wait for it to do its thing. It's
Okay.
like, app, this is out. All right, I'm just going down the line, and everything that can be updated is.
So do I have to do something? I never had HomePods and an upgrade at the same time. So do I have to do something?
No, it'll eventually
make it
update
upgrade?
on its own. But if
How do I
you
tell?
want, launch the Home app.
Where's my phone?
Let's see if I can do this straight from memory.
It's under my yarn. Sorry.
Understandable. All right, so launch the Home app.
It happened.
Now tap the Home icon in the upper left-hand corner.
Okay.
Now tap Settings.
Yeah.
Shut up about what's new.
And
Okay,
then
wait. I need the house.
Yep, tap the house in the upper left-hand corner.
Okay, and then
Settings.
Home settings.
Home settings.
Oh, home settings. Okay, home settings. Okay.
See, I'm doing pretty good from memory. Okay, now scroll down, and you'll see an option for updates.
Software update.
Software
There we go.
update automatic.
Software update.
HomePod will be updated automatically.
Go ahead and tap on that and see if you can.
Update available. Update all.
There we go. Now go ahead and tap that, and it'll force the update to run.
Could not complete operation.
Oh.
Wait.
Except for you.
The nice thing was
it's letting me do one. Maybe the other ones are done already. Maybe it just hadn't reloaded the screen yet.
Yeah, could be.
Oh, I was wrong. Could not update kitchen HomePod. Screw you, kitchen HomePod.
The nice thing was I have both of them. I have HomePod Mini in pair, and I have the HomePod in pair, and I was able to run the update, and it took care of both at the same time.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you tap the update once, and it just goes through your whole stock of HomePods and updates everything for you.
Well, it said it couldn't, but now it's like spinning the thing like it's doing it. So I think I have Schrodinger's HomePod.
That's
it's doing the download, or it's preparing to install.
That's what I experienced.
Emotionally. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Jeff, I'm sorry, I forgot. I did update my HomePods, and my perception is that the Yes Lady is faster on my big HomePod. Because I've been struggling with that for a little while. It's like she either can't do something or she takes forever just to set a 2-minute timer.
Rebooting.
And now, and now all of a sudden she's very responsive.
Yes, I did notice a problem though that I didn't have prior to HomePod Software 15, which is the S Lady on the HomePod seems less intelligent when dealing with some commands in context. So, for example, if I have music playing on the HomePod and I have a timer running on the same HomePod, and I say, "Hey, S Lady, pause," that up until iOS 15 has consistently paused to the music, which is what I want to pause. Why would I want to pause the timer? Stuff in the oven's going to burn if I do that. And now it pauses the timer and not the music. So I have to explicitly say, "Hey, S Lady, pause the music."
Interesting.
Does anybody happen to know what we get out of the HomePod update? One thing I thought I saw, and it only stuck out in my mind because I just found the shortcut that makes this easier, is that if you talk to her quietly, she will talk to you quietly instead of you talk to her quietly. And then she answers you like this.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that.
Yeah, there's.
But what else? Do we know anything else about what comes to the HomePods in that? I don't know.
Not right
That's
off.
why I'm asking. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's some articles out there but
yeah.
I mean,
and I only know that because I found that shortcut like a week ago. And so
Yeah.
I was like very excited to find it. And then I found out I'm not going to need it once everything goes to 15. So,
Well,
yeah,
one thing that I noticed changed after the update and after WatchOS 8 is that if music is playing on my HomePods, I will get on-screen controls for that on my Apple Watch now.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Now, there's a new HomeKit thing where you can assign times, like time limits to how long something happens. Like you can say, "Hey, S Lady, turn off the lights in 10 minutes."
Oh.
But I haven't messed with that yet. And
because one thing I always said I wanted was I don't want a reminder when I get home. I want a reminder for 5 minutes after I get home. And that never worked. But I don't need it when I like pull into the driveway. I need it when I get into the house.
yeah, there's a thing where you can adjust the bass level on the HomePod now. So
I did see that because somebody said like, "Oh, good. Now I don't have to worry about bothering my neighbors with the bass level on my home." And I'm like, were you really bothering them before? Like, if you weren't Andrew, are you really bothering them before?
Are you talking about having your HomePod automatically play some Star Wars theme song when you get in the room?
I am not.
Yeah.
I should be, but I'm not.
That surprised me a bit.
So it's a setting now. So in the Home app, if you tap and hold on one of your HomePods, it brings up all the info about what it's currently playing or what it's doing, whatever. And then you scroll down and you get to all the settings. And one of the settings is reduce bass.
Oh, okay. Why would you?
It's in the music and podcast section, right under allow explicit content, which is turned on, of course.
Why would you want to turn off the anyway? The bass. The bass.
I put the article in our chat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, of course, there's an article about it.
I want the command. I want the command to turn the bass up so I can disturb the neighbors.
That's right.
Yes.
That is my goal.
Down all the time, except for when you want to disturb the neighbors, and then you're turning it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
hey,
strange.
lady.
That's strange.
Let's let the neighbors enjoy some 808 state. Yeah.
So we got to get out of here. We're over time, but Brad gets the last word in the chat room. He says to Jeff, "Time for a newer Apple Watch, Jeff." Pun intended.
Yeah. It's, if I wasn't jonesing for that new iPad mini, it would be a lot easier to justify getting a new Apple Watch.
Understood.
But,
it's kind of nice that we were able to leave the iOS, iPad OS updates, the HomePod, to the end, so that it just shows that we didn't have that much to talk about it.
There's lots to talk about. Just the why go to the details when so much of it's already out there.
Well, I was thinking more, David, the installation. I mean, I don't think any of us are far enough into 15,
right?
Except for you, those of you that have been running it since June or whatever, Brittany, installed it. But it just the idea that my big thing was, how has the upgrade gone? And so if you're out there and you're on the bubble, take a shot at it. Maybe one device at a time, but take a shot at it.
Yep.
So, let's go around the room for the people that are still here and see where we can find you. And I'm going to reverse it this time. I'm going to go from the bottom up. So, Andrew, that gives you top billing. Where can folks find you?
You can find me at themacobserver.com. Well, macobserver.com. I think I said that right. I'm writing about Apple and security and privacy and all this iOS 15 stuff. And Kelly and I do a podcast about security every Friday where we talked about some of the stuff we talked about before, like passwords and data breaches and all that fun stuff. And then my Twitter handle is @AndrewOrNot.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for being here and for briefing us on a couple of the security things we talked about earlier. Mr. Jim Ray, please, folks, don't email Jim with your problems until the Mac OS version
with your
is actually
software problems. Email him about all the rest of your problems, but not your software problem.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I hear he gives great love life advice. Yeah.
Oh, hold on, Jim. I have to send you an email.
Wow.
Yeah. I am looking forward to it.
If Jeff's email has attachments, delete it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's going to be diagrams.
Oh my gosh.
I've never loved you more, Jeff.
We're gone.
Jim, where can folks find you?
I better not say.
Oh, you heard about the flow chart I was going to attach.
Oh my gosh.
They're finding me anyway, so proview.com. Send your cards and letters. And also Twitter, ProViewJim, PROVUE.
Great. Thank you, Jim. Good to have you. As always, thanks for bringing the developer's perspective to some of these shenanigans, I think is the proper phrase. Kelly Guimont, where can we find you?
I admit nothing. Oh, wait. You can find me 5 days a week over at the Mac Observer, where I do the Daily Observations podcast. On Fridays, it's with Andrew. We do Secure Your Stuff Friday over there. And we talk about a lot of other topics too, depending on the news of the day. And the rest of the time, I do the After Show podcast with Mike Rose. You can find us at aftershowpodcast.com. You can find me over on the Incomparable Network, where I have my own show, I Want My MCU TV, that Chuck mentioned earlier. And we talk about the latest show that is airing on Disney Plus that is MCU related. And I occasionally appear on Football is Life, which is the Incomparable podcast about Ted Lasso. And you can find that at veranisports.co.uk, which is an advertisement from the middle of the show that Apple didn't bother to register the domain name for. So you can find Football is Life podcast over there. The rest of the time, you can find me kind of here, there, and everywhere. At some point, I'm going to be back on In Touch with iOS with David. Yes. Jeff and I are going to get up to some kind of shenanigan at some point in the future. I can feel it. And the rest of the time, you can find me on Twitter as Verso.
Great. Thank you.
And before
Kelly,
we leave, I want to point out, Brittany has a video over on her YouTube channel about focus modes. And the point of her videos is to make things very approachable for people who aren't necessarily the most technical. So if you are watching this show and you don't feel like explaining focus modes to the people you do tech support for in your family and friend circles, you can just send them Brittany's video. And I will make sure that Chuck has a link to that.
Excellent. Thank you, Kelly. Thanks
for being here. She wasn't here to promote it, and I want to make sure that she gets she spent time making sure it works. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Gamet, other than getting up to shenanigans with Kelly, which is really a disturbing picture, where can folks find you?
You've been there for a fair number of those shenanigans, Chuck.
I can
you can cast no aspersions on that.
Yeah. No pictures, no flow charts, please.
And Chuck, just remember, deny everything, make counter accusations, demand video proof.
There it is.
And be deathly afraid if you get the video proof. Where can we find you, Jeff?
That's when you have to regroup. Yeah. Okay. You can
Because if it came from your doorbell camera, I mean.
Yeah. Okay. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am Gamet both places. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/JGamet. And let's see, here on Tuesdays, MacVoices Live. Thursdays, The Big Show. Fridays, The Mac Show. Quite often, I have the pleasure of getting to be on In Touch with iOS on Thursday evenings. And I've been doing a few episodes of Apple Context Machine with Brian Chaffin. So I pop up there occasionally too. I get around.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeff. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
It's always fun.
Last but not least, the guy who will be managing some of the chats at MacStock this weekend, at least as we record this, it's this weekend, David Ginsburg. Other than in the chats at MacStock, where can folks find you?
Well, you can find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. I will have, I don't know if it's the pleasure or maybe not so much with Guy Searle joining me actually in person. You'll be here in my palatial studio, as you're seeing here, and we'll be doing a in-person episode of In Touch with iOS, which I'm actually kind of excited. Don't get to do in-person episodes very often, so that'll be fun. YouTube channel is youtube.com/DaveG65. Find me on the Mac Show on Fridays, and you also can find me on Twitter at DaveG65. Thank you so much, Chuck.
Thank you, David. We'll see you virtually on Saturday.
Yes, virtually on MacStock. Be there.
And then after that, Guy doing an in-person interview with David, that'll cure David of any desire that he has to do in-persons ever again. Yeah.
And dinners and hanging out. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Oh, this is not going to end well, folks. This is not going to end well.
Yes.
If David is not managing the chats at MacStock this weekend, you'll know what happened.
Yeah.
Chat room, thank you. Brad, you especially were very vocal tonight. Webb, you slipped in a couple good ones too. Appreciate all of your comments and always glad to have you all there.
We love you, chat room.
Yes, we all do. Thank you. Good point, Kelly. With that, this is MacVoices Live, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, whatever time it is, wherever you are. We'd love to have you join us too, so you can throw comments in the chat room at us and make us smile, make us laugh, make us shake our fists at you, whatever. Until the next time, and as always, I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.